Howdy, y'all, and welcome to another episode of A Contagious Smiles podcast with Michael and Victoria. Okay, let me reword that. With Victoria, the ever so sexy vixen and big-hearted woman, and that's not a fat joke.
Oh, Lord. And my redneck husband. My redneck husband.
So we had some questions this past week
Friday.
as far as why do you do your podcast the way you do? Because the person who asked me about this or who commented said that they were a little confused at first about how we structure our podcast. And as y'all know, this is unstoppable. This is anything goes. We try to keep it PG, but
Never happens.
but it doesn't happen. Okay,
This is unscripted,
it's always unscripted. There's nothing written down here.
which is the only time nothing's written down.
So everything is off the cuff. It's real life events coming from Victoria and myself. It's lived experience coming from the both of us. It's stories that have been written to us through email and other things. So it's just real, raw, everyday living
Life.
Yeah.
It's life.
So you will hear about domestic violence. You'll hear about escape plans. You'll hear about warning signs. You'll hear about narcissism. You'll hear about men being the survivors, the victims at the times. And you'll hear about the special needs families, but you also hear about, school shootings, and our comments and, how we view school shootings being prior law enforcement. You'll hear experience that, we've been in domestic violence situations.
And we both are survivors of abusive relationships, both intimate and family. So you get the him, her perspective, literally, of that. And it gives you an insight because not only have we lived it, we've worked it, we experience it. I mean, you can't get more real than that. We did a live on Friday, and that was with Mike Macniak and myself. And my cutie patootie husband over here was working in the background for me. And it went really well. The numbers, I don't know the wonkiness of the numbers. I've reached out to Facebook and they haven't responded to me yet. They're like, oh, it takes up to whatever amount of hours or whatever. But I did it differently. And I've never done it this way before, where we went through Zoom and then linked live through Zoom, live streaming. And I've had now probably 60 to 75 people reach out about it and tell me that it was great. They, wish that Mike and I had had some more interaction, but it was very just jam-packed for an hour. It really was. And, I love the feedback, positive and negative, because then we know what to do on the next live. So please feel free to keep doing that. And we released This Is What It Takes first episode on Friday as well. And Mike Macniak's podcast, Holding It Together, kinda, also has its episode released Friday, where I was his guest and we were talking about some things. So there's a lot of stuff happening and it's all out there. For those who don't know, I have been honored by being asked by Mike to come and partner with Care Coalition, which is an amazing nonprofit organization that really focuses on the mental health. And I love that because we focus on it too. So we're very much aligned. And just this past week, at the very end of the week, I officially brought my husband on my team. He has been on my team of A Contagious Smile now for years and years. And now he's realigning himself to also help with the Care Coalition, which is awesome because I really believe that we're one of the very few married couples that can work together, live together, just intertwine together. I mean, because he is my best friend.
Definitely, I like that intertwined bit.
PG.
Oh.
Right. So, I mean, we are best friends and we don't argue. And I mean, like Faith would say men are stupid, but it's like the simplicity of little things. Like yesterday I was getting ready to run out to the store because here, and everybody knows my husband says I work ridiculous, like 7 days a week, never a day off, not even for a movie, nothing, nothing. And I think that was putting it lightly compared to the last few weeks.
Oh yeah.
And so I pull to our cul-de-sac, and my husband pulls up beside me. And for just a split second, we were both like, wow, this is like the old days when the squad cars would like pull up, and we would have conversations. And it was just like a little flashback. It was sweet.
So speaking of squad car and law enforcement days,
Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
now that we're aligned with Mike McNack and Care Coalition, and he's really big into the mental health side. As law enforcement officers, we saw a huge need for extensive training for our officers with the mental health, the mentally challenged.
Not just yes, but I want to take one step further. Not only for like arriving on scene with someone who's autistic or in crisis, but also, I'm sorry, I don't agree with a lot of people when they say officers have enough resources to decompress after a situation, because I've seen it firsthand. I see how, they go in with tunnel vision, like for domestic violence. That's the most dangerous call an officer can respond to. But, when you crash from that adrenaline, or you see something so traumatic, and if you're involved in a shooting, or no matter what, if you get into a scruffle, I mean a serious knockdown scruff.
What's a scruffle?
You have no room to talk.
What is a scruffle?
What's wrestling?
That's where you wrestle.
I don't even know what that is.
With two grown men getting inside the ring and
wearing tighty whities.
Yes,
it doesn't even make sense to me.
WWE, WWF, and all them WWF.
WWW.
Okay. All right, let's go scruffle. You got some scruffle on your chin.
I've never had facial hair. You have more estrogen than me, so I don't know what you're talking about.
That's because I'm a house bitch.
I didn't say it. Anyway, I don't believe that law enforcement, even fire rescue, I don't believe that they have enough resources to help them when they go into a traumatic situation afterwards. When they're involved in something, I think they should be able to have these resources for free, because, and I'm not taking away from Hollywood actors, I'm not taking away from, people in sports or anything like that, but these people make tens of millions of dollars. And then law enforcement officers, make pittance. I mean, they make nothing. And firefighters, these people are going in, and they're running towards while everybody else is running away. Right. And they make like pennies on the dollar in comparison. Not even pennies on the dollar, because if a big sports person signs a 6-year contract for $100 million, an officer won't see that in a lifetime.
I've seen county sheriff here making starting out at $55,000.
I mean, and that's not what either one of us ever started out at. I mean, back in the day, it was not even, half that. And it's just ridiculous. And the thing is that, and it's not like it's a one-day thing. I mean, you're talking 12-hour shifts, and you get exhausted, 3 on, 3 off, 3 on, 4 off. And then I don't know many officers who don't work extra jobs because they have to have that, extra income coming in. But mental health is not, I mean, when you go on the scene and say there's a shooting or something like that, yes, you get to go and go through the channels, but it's only temporary. Like they're not going to go and help you long term, and that's not okay. They need to provide long term, because PTSD is not something that has an expiration date. It's something that lasts a long time, if not a lifetime. I mean, from the physical abuse that I went through, I'm 20 plus years and I'm still dealing with PTSD. Am I where I was? Absolutely not. But I'm the first to admit, when I do counseling and things like that, I love the people say, I love how motivating you are and how your words resonate to what I want to get to. And that's it. That's true. But I still have body dysphoria, and I'll be the first to admit it. My husband can testify standing right here. I know I had just opened Pandora's box. That even when it's 100 degrees out, I am still in long pants down to my ankles. I don't wear sleeveless. I don't own anything sleeveless. I don't have any short sleeves or what is it that Faith wears, a spaghetti straps or whatever. I don't own any of that. And I've promised that I am going to one day here soon purchase it. And I have actually gone, and I tell people this all the time, just go look, right? And be like, one day I used to go, hell no, and just kept walking. Like I would never even pick up one of the shirts. I have picked up one of the shirts, and I'm like, that might happen one day. Coming, it's a pattern. It's, it's a process. And I mean, is that not true? I mean, I literally dress like a hermit.
Okay. So yes, you do dress very baggy, but
Not as bad as I used to.
let me piggyback off this. Fellas, if your significant other has been through whatever traumatic experience with an ex-partner, ex-husband, ex-wife, whatever,
Even family member.
give them their time. Okay? I've been married to my wife for 5 years. I've known her for 25 plus years. Okay? I cannot push her to get into something more skimpy. Okay?
More skimpy. I don't own anything skimpy.
As much as I love to see my wife naked,
Oh my God. Sorry.
this is just something you cannot push. You have to give them their time. Okay? It will come, guys. I don't read into that, but it will happen. All right? Don't be too pushy.
But why can't you see the beauty from within without having to see the clothing and what it covers?
Question?
No, I'm just saying. Like, okay, I'm gonna call you out, and now you're gonna be like, "Oh Lord, why?" The other day, my husband looks at me and says, "Why am I still in love with you?"
Okay, let me put it the way I did it.
Put that 16 size shoe right up in your mouth.
I said,
You have a big
booger?
foot.
Oh, I thought you were looking up my nose.
No,
Got rocks.
that's
I said,
gross.
why am I still in
That
love
is
with you?
not the way you said it.
Yes.
I will call our daughter in. That is not the way you said it. You said you stood right in this office because this is basically where I live. And you looked at me and said, how is it I'm still in love with you?
Okay, let me put this in perspective, y'all.
Into what?
Perspective, y'all.
What?
Perspective, y'all. All right? You see a gorgeous sunset or sunrise.
Oh, okay.
Okay? You got your orange, you got your yellow.
You got your what?
Orange. You got your
What is that?
white,
An
blue.
urn? Like somebody's passed away? Urn?
Orange. ORANG.
See, Mike says he can't understand you all the time. Now I get it.
Okay?
Like a loved one is in an urn.
Okay, you're messing up my scenic view here.
That's a scenic view?
Yes. You got this
It sounds like a
view over the ocean. Okay?
crematory. Okay, yeah.
Beautiful sunrise, beautiful sunset. Pick one you want, okay? And you look at
With
it
urns.
with orange, and you think,
This is how we're not
are you done?
scripted. I have to be.
And you look at this and you think, how can you not believe in God at a beautiful canvas like this?
That has nothing to do with how can I still be in love with you.
How can I still be in love with you? It's no question.
That's like saying I think chocolate and vanilla are the exact same flavors. That makes no sense, not even in your
If you
redneck
don't
world.
have taste buds,
Then you wonder about the consistency of it. What if one's Rocky Road and one's
Chunky Monkey,
sure? I'm just saying, how do you say to your wife, how can I still be in love with you?
how can I not?
That word was not paraphrased nor stated in the statement to which you stated.
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled in my courtroom. I'm saying you did not say that. You didn't say that.
Well, how can I not
Here's the thing.
be in love with you
Here's the thing.
after all these years?
You always say, oh, I'm this big, ugly, fat guy or whatever. I've never seen that. I look at you and I am like, oh.
I'm 6'1", 275 pounds.
No, you've lost more.
Well, I'm a big fat guy.
You're not a big, fat guy. Your eyes from day one had me at hello.
We're talking about mental health.
This is mental health.
All right, I'm about to commit you. You keep talking about me.
Don't even threaten that because that's already happened with your father, your sperm donor. So don't even talk about that. That's not even funny. That's not even funny.
All right, mental health.
So more options need to be made available
To the officers.
to officers,
law
not just law enforcement, but also to fire and rescue. I mean, and to teachers. And you look at these schools, and these schools have 6, 8, 900 students and one, maybe two counselors. How do you do that? I mean, how can you do that and justify it? But here's the thing. And when it comes to special needs, the counties are getting supplemental income for every child that goes into a special needs classroom, right? But then they have to have all these rules and regulations and IEPs and 504s and all these things. But behavioral plans, they don't do it. I mean, I'm like one of the advocates for special needs, and I used to love going into IEP meetings. Ask any person who's ever been in an IEP meeting, it is god awful painful. People are like, it's like a colonoscopy without being put to sleep, because you go into a room, right? You go into a big conference room, and you're the only person there. Everybody else is the teachers and whoever the counselor who's not there helping the kids. And you get a form of who is going to attend, and you're the one who can say whether or not they're allowed to be excused or not, right? But they come in with this mindset of, we're going to overpower her with numbers, and we're going to try to talk to her or him like they have no idea what they're doing, because most parents don't know their rights for an IEP, right? Like, you have to be able to say, I want to see work product. If they're getting special services, you should be able to say, I want to see attendance records. Most, if not, well, most parents don't know that. And when I'm in an IEP meeting advocating, they crap when I say, I want this, this, this. And when they're like, well, we don't have it here, we'll have it next time. No, 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 no. What you don't realize is that I'm the chief of this one, and we'll wait. We can go on a little break. You can go get your steps in on your little pedometer and walk your little ass upstairs and go get it, because you're sugarcoating all of this crap, and it's bullshit, because our kids aren't getting what they need. And it's not okay. It's not okay. And just because you wanted to get a paycheck and have summers off. Now, not all teachers are that way. I've met some of the most dedicated, loving teachers who really are there for the kids, but there are plenty out there that are like, oh, I get summers off and I get this and I get that. I'm all about teaching. But then they don't really put their heart into it. And that's horrible. I mean, that's really a horrible. Why are you looking at me like that?
because I love it when you go off in left field.
And go off in left field. It's all about mental health. And the mental health is very much dominant in the special needs community. So how is that going off in left field?
Teachers vacation.
Because some of these teachers aren't in it wholeheartedly. Are you serious?
I'm very serious. I love it.
Here's my mental health conundrum.
What'd you say? Scribble?
I'm going to scribble.
Scrotum?
My husband and I are upgrading things in our home, and he's not going to believe this, it's been a month since we agreed that we were going to redo the upstairs hall. And we did, we were going to paint the walls and the doors and the door frames. And then we were putting a new floor in. And he keeps saying, I'm going to do it tomorrow. We're going to finish it tomorrow. We're going to finish it tomorrow. We're going to finish it tomorrow. What are you looking at? The fact that my office door has 2 colors to it?
This door has been busy.
Metaphor. Because a minute ago, I was talking about the difference in black and white. And look, black and white. The door is part black and part white. It doesn't make it mixed. It makes it not finished. That is called a mental health issue, because it's driving me nuts. See?
Good.
See?
Good. Like our daughter today at the dinner table, I purposely cooked the dinner in 2 separate dishes, and she put the main course separate from the other part. Right?
Could you be any more vague?
It was chicken and rice and
Sweet and sour chicken.
Sweet and sour chicken. So,
which normally my husband mixes together, and let me tell you, you have to have a specific kind of palate to like it.
She had this wide gap between the 2 different items, and I purposely slid a nugget over into her rice. Will you please stop doing that, Dad?
You irritate her.
She said her OCD back in the day was so bad.
Oh my God.
She had to have like 4 forks for
back in the day.
We're talking about our daughter, Faith.
She would have to have a different plate or container for every food.
Wow.
And it wasn't, I don't necessarily believe it was OCD. Mm-hmm. For people who don't know, my daughter was not able to take a bottle and she had oral aversion and she had a tracheostomy. And so she had a feeding tube and they told her she'd have it for life. Well, my daughter got her feeding tube removed when she was 16. And they told her she'd never eat by mouth because of her basic non-functioning, non-existing tongue. And so she basically said, watch this, and she got it out. Well, then back in the day, we were trying to, and we were at feeding therapy 3 times a week, right? And they would always have things in separate containers. And I really think that she took that and ran with it because I would say to the therapist, you have to stop this because they would say, okay, take a bite, and they'd give her a sticker. Or they would say, open up, and they'd give her a sticker. And I'm like, that's not real life. That's not real world. And then if she took a bite and swallowed it, they'd give her a prize out of the toy box. And I'm like, that's excessive because when I would try to implement those therapies at home, if she got one bite in her mouth, she put her hand out like, where's my toy? Where's my sticker? Right. And I think that those kind of resonated at that very impressionable age. So yes, she has OCD, yes. But to that extent, I mean, yes and no. Like she used to have a fork for every tiny thing. She used to have a different like plate or bowl or whatever for each food. And if the food even touched, like I remember one time at band camp, I was bringing over her dinner that I made, and it had like 3 or 4 little items in it. And I sneezed, and when I sneeze, I always try to sneeze in my wing or like move the plate out of the way. And I did, and just a little bit of the applesauce slid over into the pudding. Now, it's all going down the same gullet and it's all going into your belly, right? Oh, no. Nope, not happening with my kid. Oh, no. Then she was yours before you even knew because she was like, no. And I was like, oh, God, you got to be kidding. No, because I wanted to put it on a plate. She wanted the applesauce in the applesauce container. She wanted the pudding in the pudding container. She wanted a new spoon for each. They had to be color coordinated. Oh my heavens. But we did it. And if I said it's mealtime and the color spoons didn't match, we'd have to wait till the dishwasher had been run because it's how she worked, right? No. And she's so stinking cute because she couldn't say no because she couldn't get her tongue to reach the roof of her mouth, right? And she had apraxia. So I taught her instead of saying no, she'd say mo, right? And nobody knew the difference. So she'd go mo, 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 like, and it was so cute. And she'd go, why are you smiling? Because it was so cute to hear her. And I didn't get to hear her for the first 2 years of her life. And so when she'd be like, why are you smiling? And then instead of saying like, I need, she would always say, I want, because she could say that and people would understand it. But you better believe that Faith pulled off some stuff because she would say things to the doctor. Like she called one of them an ass. And he was like, what did you say? And she would say asshole. And he'd go, what did you say? And I said, she said apple. And she just looked at me like, no, I didn't. I didn't say apple. I mean, but the kid was as fired up as all get out when we went to her otolaryngologist. Now you got me on left field. Talk about like seriously, we're going in there and she asked me who he was again because we had 25 doctors and therapies a week. And I said, this is the doctor who put your trach in. And little Miss Tomboy now was frou-frou then. Little patent shoes, dress, everything had to match. Everything, no matter what. Hair, accessories, nails, everything had to match. And so she asked me who he was, and I said that this was the person, who put her trach in. And she put her hands up. He was sitting in a chair, and she put her hands up, and he picked her up, and she rolled her leg back as hard as she can. She kicked him square in the no-nos.
In the what?
In the no-nos.
In the no-nos?
That's what I called it back then.
The no-nos.
Huh? Because no. No.
Okay.
And the nurse, who didn't like him at all, literally, I think she needed a change of clothes because she was laughing so hard. She thinks she peed herself. She thought she peed on herself. I couldn't say anything. Like, I really wanted to just, like, give her a happy meal for that. I mean, it was so, like, because I thought it was great. And he couldn't say anything. I was like...
Did he drop her?
No. Because actually, believe it or not, I know what you're going to say. I had a great rapport with most of the doctors, right? they were always like, we love Victoria as long as we stay on her good side, but when we've screwed up, we are never wanting to get near her because I am like, hey, here, like I'm holding you accountable. And that's another thing about mental health for caregivers, right? You know, she had a gastroenterologist, and this is for caregiving, and he had a reputation of not getting along with parents. And one day, Faith's in the hospital, and she wouldn't eat, and she had a GJ tube, which is the gastric jejunum. It goes all the way through down to the jejunum of the body, and it bypasses the gut. And she was just retching stomach acid like 20 times a day. We were admitted in the hospital, and like we were worried it was just making her esophagus raw, right? So we're in there, and I'm calling her gastroenterologist, and I'm like, "You need to get over here. You need to go." He's like, "I will after I get off work. You know, I'm seeing patients today." I'm like, "We're right across the street,"
Right.
and nothing. So I, of course, always take care of people, and I like always took care of the nurses. And I said, "Hey, who's GI on call?" And they called and had him come up. And I was like, "Hey, can you take out the GJ?" And he was like, "Only if you had a replacement button." And I'm, he barely knew me. And he was like, I was like, "So what if I had one?" And he goes, "If you have one, I'll do it right now." So I reached into my emergency bag that I always have with me, and we were admitted, right? We're not in the ER, we're admitted. I reached over and I tossed it, and I was like, "Scrub up." And I heard him go, "Oh shit." So he starts and he takes it out. And I'm like, "I'm telling you, as soon as you stop, she's going to stop vomiting because this foreign object's all the way down in this tiny little thing's body, right? Tiny." So he gets this, and he was like, "Well, isn't Dr. So and so going to be mad?" And I'm like, "At this point, I don't care. I don't care." So an hour or so goes by. I'm snuggled up watching Mary Poppins for the 1,987th time. And here comes Dr., who she calls Dr. Diarrhea. And he comes walking around the corner, and we're sitting there, and he's like, "What's going on?" And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Tell me I didn't just get a phone call from who's on call telling me that got switched." And I said, "Yeah." And he threw the button into the bed, right? And I'm in the hospital bed. Like it hit the feet. It hit our feet area, right? So I look at Faith and I said, "I'll be right back. I'll just hold on." And she's like, "I want to go. I want to." Because here comes Mama Bear, right? So he's walking back down the hall. And I'm like, "Hey, asshole." Like, I didn't care. I know I'm in a kid's hospital. I looked around, apologized. I was like, "Sorry." He turns around and goes, "Excuse me?" I'm like, No. We're going to do this right here, right now. I said, "First of all, you're going to march yourself back and you're going to apologize to my child for throwing something at her." He goes, "Well, I kind of threw it at you." And I was like, "Go." And I was like, I am not going to sit here and watch this happen to my child and do nothing to help her, right? Because as a parent, it's hard to be a parent as it is. When you have a child who is medically complex, like Faith was at that time, and you're juggling all of these doctors and therapies and everything else, and you're literally doing it by yourself as a single parent, have a little compassion for these people. Have some compassion for the mom who won't go home and stays in that bed with her kid for a month straight and says, "I go home when she's discharged. And until then, I'm right here and I'm going nowhere. If she doesn't leave, I don't leave, period." Right? We'd walk the floor, and he's like, "She can't walk the floor." Okay, guess what? I took the IV pole. I put her little cute socks or her slippers on there. I tied her around to me with a robe belt. And so she was on there, told her to hold on, and I pushed her. I pushed her with the IV pole all around. And I was like, "She ain't walking." And what are they going to say? You have to be specific with me because I will find that gray area, and she doesn't need to be stuck in the room for a month. Right? And so I'm like, we are going to get some air. And we didn't go like outside. We walked, she rolled around in style around the floor. So I made him come back, and I was like, there is no reason for you to be so nasty, right? You're getting to go home. You're getting to go to your family. You're getting to go out for dinner or a restaurant, whatever you want to do. We're still here, right? And this is going on, and it's ripping her esophagus into raw, like burning flesh because she's throwing up straight acid all day long. She had a pyloroplasty. She had two fundoplication Nisen's, which is where they wrap your gut to your esophagus so that you can no longer belch or vomit, which she retched through both. Right. And I'm like, I can't sit here and watch her in this pain and do nothing. So, needless to say, like a couple days later, he comes back and goes, "Could you tell the nursing staff that we made up because now they won't help me because you're so good to them? Like, if we go for a walk, I would always, and people would bring me my clothes and do what my friends would. I'd say, hey, could you all pick up some candy or something? And I'd always offer them. The nurses, we became friends. I mean, on my Facebook, I probably have half of her nursing staff that ever took care of her on there. And I'd always ask how they're doing and how their family is. And so I was like, I don't know. And so now to this day, he and I have the best relationship from a doctor and parent out of any of them. I mean, he openly states that he doesn't like the parents. He does this for the kids. And he openly started telling Faith, "You're so lucky to have your mom because you wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for your mom." And you remember when we almost lost her 2 years ago, he was out of the country. And the minute he landed, he went from airport to us at the hospital, which he would never have done anywhere else. And it's just like the purpose of this is because the toll it takes on a caregiver, on top being a mom watching their child or a dad watching their child suffer medically, can rip you apart one side down the other. And then you still have to have the strong front because our kids pick up on it. They know when you're not happy. They know when something is wrong. They know when you're upset, scared, or worried. And you have to act like this isn't a big deal, as everything's going to be fine. I need to go pee real quick. And that's what I would say. I got to go to the bathroom real quick. And I'd go in the bathroom and throw up and then come back and she'd have no idea. And it was, she'd say, "Mom, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, can you just turn it up a minute so I can hear the music while I'm in there?" And I would just be in there hurling because I am petrified of the what if. I watched my daughter code every single day, all day. I became very close. I became very close with the clergy people. I mean, the clergy people of the hospital because she was coding multiple times a day and then going into full convulsional seizures at the same time, and every day. I mean, that's something nobody should ever have to experience. My husband's getting up and moving around. So mental health is so important. And, so many people are so quick to just say, "Oh, well, they're autistic. They're on the spectrum. They have this. Let's give them a pill. Let's do this. Let's do that." But they don't take the time to really sit and look at the whole picture and get the whole, history from the family. It's just so quick and, in and out. And that's not how this should be.
So there's, Victoria and I have watched multiple videos where officers have approached let's say, an autistic person and given verbal commands to someone like this may not resonate like it does with, someone without autism.
Right.
And they simply don't understand or cannot. Maybe they cannot follow.
They can't comprehend. Right. And it's not because they're trying to be argumentative.
Because let's face it, how many times have you seen, just on TV alone, one officer says, "Get your hands up." Another one says, "Get on the ground." One of them says, "Let me see your hands." The other one says, "Turn around, interlock your fingers.
Walk towards my voice."
All this shit. There's too many commands. And, we've experienced this out on the road, my wife and I, So I understand the officer needs to go home at night. Okay. I fully understand that. He has to look out for numero uno, right? He has to look out for himself, for his family. Okay. So he has to approach the situation carefully. But if you can get educated, if you can get training, you can see these signs. You can understand this person will react different if I react different. Right. So I hope in the future that our partnership with Care Coalition and Mike Matnat will help lend more training to our local law enforcement and beyond, whether it's in book form or actual one-on-one with a classroom setting. My wife and I have been in classroom settings and taught. first aid, first responder, AED, things like that in the past, and I hope to do it again.
Yes.
So what's up?
So I'm just, you can only help so many people, but we're trying to put everything out there so that we can help as many as we can in all these different avenues. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Oh, so speaking of help, y'all jump on our website, contagiousmile.com,
Or carecoalition.org.
carecoalition.org. Care Coalition is one word.
Are you trying to say
Org,
okay? Because we just don't know.
not orc.
We still don't know what is.
Orange?
Are you trying to say orange?
Yes, that's what I just said.
Let's try this together. Orange.
Orange.
Holy crap. Orange.
Orange. Okay. Don't forget about our academy, a contagious smile.
Academy, but you can't say orange.
Academy. A contagious smile.mn.co. It's orange.
So you could have orange juice while watching wrestling.
That's right.
With your sandwich on aluminum foil.
You did it. You graduated.
That's not even right. That's not even funny. Like that's
what? You're the one that said scruffle.
Hey, Faith gave him
Whatever
a redneck dictionary, and I think it's hilarious.
Oh, that's by your buddy, Jeff.
Jeff Foxworthy. He was so nice. Oh, talk about nice. Okay, hold on. So again, Dermot Mulroney comes out, and he's endorsing Michael Magnac and I and what we're doing, right? And for those who might not know, it was a couple of years ago, he heard about Faith and reached out to us and wanted to wish good wishes to her because that's when she was in the hospital and it was really, really bad and she was in complete organ failure. And I'm going to put the video up, and he remembered that this is my daughter, right? He remembered Faith as my daughter. And he was like, my Valentine from a couple of years ago. And he's like, oh, Valentine just went. So I'm going to have to revisit this with her next year. And I mean, I'm sorry, but ladies are going to agree with me about this. Dermot Mulroney, back in the day, I mean, he was like everybody's cutie patootie pie, right? But I said to my husband a couple of years ago, okay, Faith got Dermot Mulroney to ask him to be her Valentine's. How are you even going to top that? I mean, how could you even top that? I don't know. I had Amir Arson, who has told you to listen to your wife. So I think that's like the pre-Mother's Day gift of all time. And then Mackenzie Phillips, who has such a story and is such a strength. She's reached out and she did a video for us. And we're emailing back and forth about trying to get her on the show, which I think would be amazing because what a survivor. And for her to say that she had been looking at what we do, and I mean, we as in A Contagious Smile and Care Coalition, and then to just love all that we do and stand for, it has no relevance. And I'm not trying to take away from her fame at all or anything that she's accomplished in her craft of being an artist and being an actor. But when you know her survival story, and it's not mine to share, when you know what she's endured and she's overcome and she's a thriver, there is hardly a compliment that can top that because she has been through hell is an understatement, an absolute understatement. And those who don't know her story, please take a moment when there's no children around and go look about it and read about her and you'll understand. I mean, she was a great actress, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about Mackenzie Phillips, the person who went through just hell. And to have her, you know, say that she loves what we do and supports us is just so inspiring. It's things like that that really, and the other day I'm looking at emails and I feel horrible because it was in an email that got into my spam folder, Malcolm Goodwin, who, if you remember years ago, sent me a video and I'm like, what is this on here? Like, I didn't know what it was. Somebody he knew I had been doing therapy with, and he sent me a video thanking me because I saved their life. And to this day, I don't know which person it was. And I treat everybody the same. So that's not even the point. And he's like, I personally just wanted to say thank you. And you have a lifetime follower in me. So he reached out to me in January and it went into spam. And I didn't see it. And that's not really an excuse. But if you ask my husband, I get thousands and thousands of emails a day.
That's right.
And he wants to come on. And it's like, I love who they are as people. But if they pass on the message too, we're really going to get out there and be able to help even more. And that's why around the way, what I was trying to say is take 2 seconds and tell someone you know, someone you love, or share on Facebook that there is resources here, that you can come here and learn things that you won't learn from a textbook or anything anywhere else, and just share. Listen to Mike's podcast, Holding It Together, kinda. I mean, that's so full of information. He is a attorney with 30 years practice. He is the founder of this really amazing nonprofit that we just partnered up with. He is just, you couldn't ask for better. And this really needs to reach as many people as we can, because you know what? And I always use this as an example, but let's go back not even 4 years from 4 years ago today. I had 2 hands. I had 2 arms. I had no idea that in under 4 months and a week, I would lose my hand and arm. I can't believe I'm coming up on my 4th year of amputation. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah.
And you never know. You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And with the numbers like they are for abuse, 1 in 4 women go through it in the civilian sector, 1 in 3 go through it in law enforcement and military. That's a mother, daughter, grandmother, a mother, daughter, sister, a mother, daughter, best friend. These are all free. All of this is free. And just pass the word along so that, when they need it, God forbid, it's here for them too.
And on that note, thank you all for listening to Unstoppable here at A Contagious Smile, and partnered with Care Coalition and Mr. Michael McNack.
It's not Macnack. He's going to have you for lunch. And think how I feel. I'm in a stucco sandwich. I'm in a Mike sandwich.
It's Michael McNack, y'all. I said that one time when I was real tired. I just woke up and I slaughtered his name. Oh, no different than y'all slaughtering Kellen's. He's got a hard last name to pronounce.
Can you pronounce it? Flukinger.
No, I hear an N in there. There's no N. It's Iger. So anyway.
So right now I'm in the middle of a Mike sandwich and I'm in the middle of a stucco sandwich.
That's just gross.
What?
No.
Why would you take it there? Because I wasn't taking it there.
No. We're not having one of those poly rock omnagon, whatever relation.
Polyomnagon?
Whatever the hell they call it now.
What is a polyomnagon?
Something that these kids made up. Good night, y'all.
Oh my. Please pray for me. Please.